Whatever it is you and your friends do it somewhere else.
You warning me?
I'm preparing you.
There's only one new movie in theaters this weekend, but that's okay because it's The Equalizer 3, starring Denzel Washington. This time around, he's trying to live the retired life in a picturesque Italian village, but when mafia thugs roll into town, it's time for our hero to return to his bloody ways. This is a very violent movie, but it's easy to stomach because of Denzel's affable charisma, and routine with director Antoine Fuqua, it makes for some bloody good fun at the movies.
The choices I make right now have really big consequences. I don't know what I want.
More fun over on Netflix with Choose Love, the story of a young woman trying to decide between her boyfriend or the two other gorgeous guys she knows from work. Which one will she pick? Well, that's up to you, because this is an interactive movie, meaning that you get to choose what each character does. It's a fun little twist on an otherwise sweet but slight romantic comedy.
Girls, girls, girls.
Hi, Principal Burke.
This is the second time you three have been killed this semester.
And finally, over on Shudder, Perpetrator is a very bloody, very weird movie. It's the story of a high schooler hunting down a serial killer, all while undergoing a supernatural metamorphosis of sorts. Look, this crazy plot is tough to follow at times, but the gonzo performances are a lot of fun, and the visual images are certainly striking, especially if you like buckets of blood.
You have to be okay with the pain and the blood.
And that's what's new this week at the movies. I'm Sean McBride, the movie guy.
8:32 on this Friday morning, which may not need to be said since Sean McBride, the movie guy, is here. Always a good sign to bring us a look at this week's movies. There's a couple, right? One in theaters.
There's one big one,
right.
And then we've been saying, we told you last week that there's really only one movie to talk about this time. There are a couple online, and there's a couple of things to chat about. But really, it should be Sean, the college football season is back guy, because that's really
it takes over.
By the time you get to September, the kids are back in school. Temperatures theoretically are getting cooler.
In some places.
In some places, right? So Hollywood frequently in September doesn't release a lot.
Sure.
There have been weeks where I'd tell Dan, hey, nothing to talk about this week. Maybe let's do a fall preview or something like that, because historically there have been weeks where nothing was released. We're not at that point, certainly because of home streaming. There's always going to be something to chat about. But that being said, really only one movie to talk about this week, and that would be The Equalizer 3, Denzel Washington. He reteamed with director Antoine Fuqua, who was the guy they met over Training Day, if you recall, and that's where Denzel Washington won his Academy Award. And this is the third installment in this franchise, based on the TV series, a very popular TV series back on CBS, and returned to CBS. We also have another version of this with Queen Latifah right now running.
Oh, okay.
But this is the a little more violent, shall we say, cinematic version. This is very violent, folks. This is very bloody. The idea is that Denzel Washington is a retired and recuperating secret agent, special forces, CIA guy, basically. He goes to Italy. He's recuperating from he got shot in the back. And while he's there, he falls in love with this picturesque Italian village, all the cool, the quirky fishmonger and all that stuff. And then the Italian mafia rolls in, these thugs that are shaking down everyone. And the whole point of this series is, who's going to help people when criminals are, pressing average good folk, but they just can't turn to the government or the police or for whatever reason? Well, this guy can help them out, and boy, can this guy help them out. So he takes on the entire mafia, and basically, look, let's not sugarcoat it. He straight up murders a lot of these people. It is very violent, very bloody. He is an amoral hero, but he's our hero. Right? So he's better than the bad guys he's killing, and that's the good thing.
Yeah, there you go.
It's Denzel Washington, who is so charismatic and so affable. And there's, a couple moments where that million-watt smile that comes out, and you go, yeah, I realize you're a killer, but you're a good killer. We like you. So, look, it's never going to be part of his career retrospective reel. It's a genre exercise. I'm sure he's getting paid a lot. I'm sure he got to, go film on the Amalfi Coast, stuff. But like I say, this is a very bloody film. I went through this trailer. You may notice that I cut all the violent stuff out, so it's half as long as it normally is. A lot of bloodletting. but still, you know, let's call it a bloody good time if you're okay with the violence.
Sure, and you
Lot
like
of
Denzel
violence.
Washington,
Yeah,
right?
well, who doesn't like Denzel?
That's a
Come
good
on.
point, yeah. All right, well, next up, I really want to talk about this one because we were talking about it before we actually came on the air, and this is very interesting to me. An interactive movie going on this.
Yes, it's called Choose Love over on Netflix, and it's interesting. It's the story of a young woman. She's an audio engineer, and she's got a boyfriend that she loves, but he may be a little boring. And she meets a rock and roll musician at the place where she works.
Way more fun.
Way more fun, and you know he's very appealing to her. But she also runs into an old flame of hers who's now working. I think he's a guidance counselor at her niece's school. All three of the guys are gorgeous. All three of them are good potential future matches. And the point here is, who should she choose? Well, we don't know because you have to make the choice. And so through the course of this movie, you get little buttons that show up here, and they say, should she go to coffee with this guy, or should she say, I can't make it, and go home to her boyfriend, whatever. And you make these choices, and then the movie spins off from there. I liked it that it did give you the opportunity. I went to the end and then kind of checked out, and she can end up with all these guys. So you don't know how it's going to end. You have to make that call. That's pretty cool. It's taken from video games where you're controlling the main character. I'm surprised we haven't seen more of these movies.
Yeah.
That being said, it is kind of weird because they've recorded all this stuff. They filmed it all, but you only get half of that because if you decide to go out and sing with the rock star, then you're not going to get the elementary school. Yeah, you're not going to get that story. So it feels, it's not a great romance, but there's something fun about moving these players through and saying, look, I control this woman, and she stops and she talks to the camera and says, oh, I can't decide. Who do you think? Should I date this guy or should I do this? And it's fun. I think they're affable. They're obviously very good looking. Like I say, it's a sweet but slight and interesting twist. I'm not sure it's a great movie, but I thought it was kind of fun.
I was gonna say, maybe just the idea of it being interactive is kind of the coolest part of it, even if it's not good.
Oh yeah, no. The interactive is absolutely the reason to see this movie.
That is so cool.
If there is one, so.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm interested in that one. Very interesting.
Tell me who you chose on Monday.
Okay, I'll let you know. I'll let you know as I make my way through the movie. Anything else we got going on this week?
We have one more called Perpetrator. We don't need to spend a lot of time on this. This is on Shudder. You thought the Denzel movie was bloody. Good heavens, is this one bloody. Perpetrator reminds me of a David Cronenberg film. Basically, it's the story of this young woman in high school. She's about to turn 18, and something's going on with her family. Her dad seems to be in a metamorphosis. He's changing into something. And are these supernatural things coming to her when she turns 18 as well? We'll find out. There's also somebody that's been abducting girls at her high school. She has the weirdest high school in the world. The principal keeps doing active shooter drills and seems to delight in catching all the students and shooting them with water guns, saying, aha, you're dead, ha, It's weird. It is very bloody. Buckets and buckets of blood and viscera. It's an interesting film. It's not my favorite type of horror. I prefer stuff with, mounting dread. But that being said, if you like those movies, and there are people that like those movies, that one's available over on Shudder.
Okay, so Shudder, Netflix, and of course in theaters.
Yeah.
All right, that all of them?
No, that's it. I do want to really quickly touch on last week we were telling you about The First Step.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of people who will reach out to me on home streaming and say, hey, I couldn't make it to the Jefferson Theater. That was, looked like a lot of fun. And it was. There was like 1,000 people there. Very excited, red carpet and everything like that. At the end of the night, they played a video, and those guys got distribution already. So people are saying, how can I get a hold of this? How can I watch this movie? I couldn't make it to the Jefferson Theater. Well, you go to studio220films.com and get on their mailing list, and you will get a link, and stuff, and you'll find out how you can do it. It's pay-per-view now, but this distribution channel came on. This guy, he's going to release it into some Christian streaming services, and on a couple of fast channels, free ad-supported television, like Fubo TV is one you mentioned. So there are opportunities to do that, but go to studio220films.com if you want to sign up, and then check your spam, because honestly all of their things went in my spam, so you have to go through and mark them as a safe sender, in my case safe sender. But anyway, that's really cool that some local guys are having such great success, both within the crowd that came to see it, and then also online.
Yeah, the interest going far beyond just that night. So very unique opportunity. Good opportunity to kind of view in case you missed it. As always, we'd like to thank Sean McBride, the movie guy, for stopping by on this Friday. Still to come this morning, though, we'll get you a look at your forecast with meteorologist Chad Sandwell.